You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Chris in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, TV shows, games, books, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 655. And we are going to talk about the season finale of Maul, Shadow Lord. And Chris is with me, of course. And Chris, how are you feeling now after watching those last two episodes and what we just experienced in those last two episodes?
So I posted this on my social media, and the only word that I could have used is shook. I was absolutely shook watching that episode, those two episodes, and it was a great ending. I'll talk a little bit about later why I thought I was setting myself up to be disappointed, but that's not the case at all. That didn't happen at all. That didn't even come close. It was some amazing Star Wars television, and it could be the best animation show yet. I'm debating right now, but no, it was amazing.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to record this yesterday simply because both Chris and I got to attend the 25-minute premiere of The Mandalorian Grogu, so we had to shift some things around. So hopefully a number of people now have actually had a chance to sit down with this and watch it, maybe take it in a few times, but there was a lot there. And we're going to get into the full breakdown of all of that and maybe some thoughts and predictions on season 2. Although I think the more I've been thinking about it, this may go a little bit long tonight. So we may have to table that and just have a show that's just about predictions and things that we want to see going into season 2, you know? So we'll talk about that more, in just a little bit here. But hey, before we get started, how about some shout outs to some very special people? And we got a number of new Patreon members. So thank you for all of you for coming on board and your support.
Definitely. We want to thank our new Patreon subscribers, which on the We Are All the Republic level, Zachary Schaefer and Jeremy Reese. Thank you so much. Jeremy is actually an upgrade from the lower tier Patreon membership. Thank you for considering us and upgrading to upgrading your membership. We also like to welcome, as of a week or so ago, our new Delusions of Grandeur member, Vanessa Sorensen. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm happy to have her on board. And then a new, now part of the tribe member, Krister Martinelli. Thank you so much for joining. Our other now part of the tribe members, Alex, Danny, Dante, Daz, I've got a Brad Feeling, Jackson, Jacob, John, Krista, Mike Borda, my girl Paisley, Rita Reborn, Sharkman Dan, Uncle Leon, Will I Am, and William B. And then, of course, our Delusions of Grandeur members. Now, this is Rod Racing, my guy, Steve, Rob, and Vanessa. Thank you so much for your support of the show. Some programming notes that we have coming up. This next coming Sunday, we're going to have a Patreon exclusive. It's going to be, from a certain point of view, your top 3 moments of Maul Shadow Lord. 3. If you can only have 3. It's going to be hard just to have 3. So look for that. Patreon members, you are good at, who are of a certain level should be able, you'll have an opportunity to join us and express your thoughts on your top 3 favorite moments of Maul Shadow Lord. So we look forward to that show coming this Sunday, which is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there who are listening. Also, if you've been following our Road to Celebration series, you should know that tomorrow, May 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, Celebration tickets will go on sale. Star Wars Celebration Los Angeles 2027. The tickets should go on sale tomorrow. Will go on sale.
Will go on
tomorrow.
sale. Yep.
Will go on sale tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific time. You see the Discord link here. If you want to get some information or talk to others who are going to be in the same boat as you are tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific, join the Discord now. We'll welcome you with open arms. So be ready for that tomorrow. And also, right after that, if you purchase a ticket, you're going to have an opportunity to book a hotel room through Celebration's official hotel block. So please keep an eye on your email and follow the link that will come with your confirmation, and you'll be able to book a hotel if they're available on the official Celebration hotel block. Then on May 17th, we'll be a week away from the release of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and we're going to have our final hype show talking about all the hype leading up to the release of this movie. We're going to discuss all of that, and look for that on May 17th.
Yep. And we also, I forgot to mention tomorrow, We are
Tomorrow.
planning on do a full breakdown of the Mandalorian Grogu 25-minute sneak peek that both Chris and I intended. So tune in for that. That'll be a public show. That'll be 9 p.m. tomorrow. We will get into spoilers. We will talk about the full 25 minutes. It is the beginning of the show, beginning of the movie. It was like the first 25 minutes of the movie itself. But we'll get into all the details there. And I just want to plug this as well. They handed out the movie posters, right? Were they handing them out when you went to, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So they handed out the movie posters. On one side, it's got kind of like a Mandalorian Grogu poster. And then if you flip it around, it's got the special event poster that was created just for this event last night. I have about 10 extra copies of these posters. So as we do our Mandalorian and Grogu show, similar to what we did with the Acolytes, similar to what we did with Skeleton Crew, we will hand out posters and I will mail them off in tubes, mailers, for anybody that is interested. Well, we'll have a way to win. You have to, randomly get your name picked and all that stuff. But I have a bunch of posters to hand out. So we'll be giving those away as prizes or freebies when we do our Mando breakdown shows. So look forward to that as well.
I know I'll be showing my age here, but those posters are fly. They are amazing. Their posters are amazing. So yeah, hopefully you'll have a chance. You'll have a chance to win one of them, and hopefully you're one of the lucky ones who wins one.
Yeah, they're good stock too. Like it's a pretty heavy stock than
it's good quality. I was shocked. I was shocked that it was, but it's awesome.
So tune in for that, and again, we'll have more information about how you can win one of those posters in upcoming episodes once that movie releases. Okay, that's I think everything. Let me see. There was one other thing I was going to mention about Patreon. It wasn't a plug or anything. It was just a mention. Oh, it'll come back to me, or I'll post it on Patreon. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you're a Patreon member, I did post an 11-minute audio, kind of initial thoughts and breakdown of what I saw. It was mostly non-spoiler. I think I was really struggling and holding back not to spoil anything, but that is on a Patreon. It's an audio only. It's me recording some, I guess, first impressions right in the car, completely out of wind and out of breath for about 11 minutes. So that's out there on Patreon if you want to watch that ahead of time. Otherwise, we'll break the whole thing down again tomorrow. Okay. Let's get into our main topic and let's talk about the final two episodes of the of Maul Shadow Lord. We knew Strange Allies was going to be the title of the 9th episode, and for the most part, I think it was pretty much what we had said was going to happen. Strange Allies, meaning they were going to come together, work together. That all was predictable, I guess, or not predictable, but just expected, I should say. What they didn't do was give us the title of the last episode,
right?
And we said if they don't do that, it's usually because there's something hidden in the title, and sure enough. The Dark Lord. We got the thing that you and I both said we didn't want to see until the last episode. Like it felt like it had to be something there, not immediate. And I don't know. I had mixed emotions going into it because I felt like, on one hand, I felt like I would love to see him. On the other hand, I didn't want to see him yet. I was hoping they'd kind of build up to that. But I will say, I think this is what you were saying too. It felt like the payoff was definitely there. It was totally worth it. I really enjoyed the experience, and I thought they did a really great job with him. And by the way, so I want to just preface this as well. Normally we do a non-spoiler breakdown, but because it's already been out for 24 hours, we're going to go into just spoilers.
Yeah.
So no non-spoilers at this point. It's just right into the spoiler stuff. So I guess go ahead. Why don't you pick this up? Tell me, I guess, your initial thoughts, as you were watching, as you walked away. I know you said, what was the word you used? Shook. Yeah. Which is something Docky probably felt as well. But what else did you feel, or what are some of your initial thoughts after that?
So we talk about episode 9, that particular episode was actually leading up to, it was pretty much going to form. It's pretty much what I thought was going to happen. And it ended up happening that way. Now, when I believe it was when Marok said, they're on their way to you. I thought we were going to get probably the Grand Inquisitor. I didn't think we were going to get Vader. And as I saw the mist, I was like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah,
then you heard the breathing and I was like, oh no. So for like 5 seconds, I was disappointed. Okay. Because, we've talked about this ad nauseum. I really thought Vader needed to happen in a later season, not this first season. I thought Maul needed to have his opportunity to shine. And just like I predicted, if he would have showed up, he would steal the show. And that's exactly
game over.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. However, I thought it was perfect. After I was able to watch it completely, I thought his debut in here was perfect. For the one fact is, he didn't say a word.
Yeah, right.
And there was no, we already know who Vader is. He didn't say a word. He didn't say anything that would complicate his appearance. He just showed up and did his thing very impressively. And while he did steal the show, like I thought he would if he showed up this season, it wasn't like he didn't allow others to shine. We saw some great moments from characters, some that fell, some that ended up surviving. I thought the way that they organized episode 10, The Dark Lord, was perfect.
Yeah.
I gave that's a 10 out of 10. I don't know where I would put Maul Shadow Lord if I had to rank all of the animated series, but I can honestly say that episode 10 of Maul Shadow Lord is the best Lucasfilm animated Star Wars episode in its history. It was that good.
Okay.
And again, I started out being I was feeling disappointed because I was like, yeah, I'm not ready to see Vader yet. And he's going to steal the show. And again, won't allow the characters to go because he's going to steal all the spotlight. And yeah, he did that. But the way that they wrote that episode, you still felt the other characters. And I thought that was excellent. And yeah, I was very impressed, very happy, very pleased. And I can't wait for season 2.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like I wouldn't say I was necessarily disappointed, but I got excited. Like, oh crap, they really are doing this. And then as I started watching it, it felt very measured, right? His performance, bringing him in, felt very measured, very calculated, and everything from the animation to not speaking, the lighting. He was a monster. Like he was more machine than man, and was stalking him. And it was very tenuous. There was a lot of stress and tension as I was watching it. I felt a lot of emotions for the characters because I thought there's no way they're going to get out of this. Like, this is impossible. You're going up against Darth Vader in his prime, essentially at this point, still in his prime, if you will. And there was a lot of emotions, and it was an emotional ending just with everybody that fell and that sort of thing. So I would say we're going to get into all the specifics here, but I would say, yeah, they definitely stuck the landing on this one. I think this number 10 was my favorite episode for all the obvious reasons. But I felt like they did a really good job of all the episodes up into that to kind of lead up and play up that tension. The only thing that I don't know how I felt about Devon's turn. Like, I was expecting it to be more emotional, and I've had a chance to watch it 3 or 4 times, and it's good. I like the fact that she turned and she's visibly angry at the very end, that sort of thing. And it certainly, puts my mind in a space of wondering what's to come in season 2 and all the possibilities that could happen, especially with Lawson having witnessed that Maul kind of abandoned him and pushed him towards Vader and that sort of thing. So I can see where there's a lot of ways that can go, but I didn't feel the gravity of her turning to the dark side as I thought I would. But I will say that was just kind of an initial thing. We may see that progressively get worse. She may continue to fall deeper and deeper into the dark side during season 2. So verdict is still out on that. But that was really the only thing that I had as far as a negative. And that's not on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being positive, it's somewhere in an 8. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it didn't ruin the moment for me, didn't ruin the episode, didn't ruin the series for me, didn't ruin the character for me. It doesn't look like we're going to get necessarily Darth Talon, but I'm curious as to find out if they'll share give some insights into what they did pull away from the Darth Talon storylines that both Lucas and Filoni had worked on. Maybe they won't give us a whole lot because some of that may get reworked into season 2 now that we have that coming. But overall, though, it was just a great episode, a great series. And I can't wait to watch it again. It was such a quick, I get we get 2 episodes, per week, but it felt like it was over in a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That storyline, we blitzed through it and we didn't have any time to actually breathe. It felt like at times.
Yeah, it was. And it's exactly what Filoni, Favreau, and Sam Witwer explained to us, that it was going to be nonstop action. You weren't going to have an opportunity to catch your breath a lot. And that's exactly how this series was paced. But I thought it was perfect. It fit absolutely fine. And again, the payoff at the end, they led up to it all season, and we didn't even expect it. I thought it was excellent. I can't
Yeah,
give it.
yeah.
I can't give them any more praise than I already have. It was an excellent series, and like I said, episode 10, The Dark Lord. I think that's the best episode of Star Wars animation ever. It
Wow.
really really blew my mind. And
Yeah.
being a Star Wars fan for as long as I've been a Star Wars fan, it takes a lot to do that.
Right. I want to just quickly in the comments, we got a lot of people in the chat tonight and a lot of people watching. So thank you guys for viewing. If you haven't already had a chance to do so, please like, subscribe, do all the things, and make sure to ring the bell so you get future episodes. But Reader Reborn says epic. Let's see. There was another one in here. Sorry, I was looking here. Oh, Zora Ellens is back. Hey, she says, I haven't been able to lurk in so long. Miss you guys. Miss you too, man. Thanks for being here. Reader Reborn said you really could feel his power. Lemay Latime. I hope I said that right. Maul is the best Star Wars show. And then Justin said Devin will go down a darker path than Maul. I can see that. That's kind of where I was going. She had much more raids even when he was concerned. Maul being concerned. My Star Wars guys is with us. Says, did I see Daki do an Obi-Wan 2-finger stance versus Vader? It sure looked like it. Yeah, he did kind of put his 2 fingers up. So
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe that's a thing now. I thought it was just a signature thing for Kenobi, but and there's a ton of other comments that we will get to here over time. So thank you guys for again being in the chat. Feel free to throw questions in as well. We'll try to get to some of them. We can't get to everything, but if you have questions that you want to throw in the chat, we'll certainly put them up there and answer them as they're relevant to the discussion. So okay, let's get into the breakdown. And we kind of, again, it's all been serialized. So we pick up immediately after episode 8. They just reached out to Dryden Voss, and Crimson Dawn was offering to help. And the deal was Dryden offers to get them off Janix so long as they help him take out Rintero. And Rintero is the current boss of Crimson Dawn. I thought it was funny in there too, where he's like, does your boss know or whatever? And he's like, no, he doesn't know because, I'm about to kill him, essentially what's happening here. But he says that, Maul doesn't fully trust him, and that Crimson Dawn has betrayed him in the past. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially in season 2, that shift of power where I don't know if Dryden is going to jump into Rintero's spot, or will it be one of these things where, he thinks he's going to do that, and then Maul pulls a 180 and is like, no, you're not in charge of Crimson Dawn. I'm in Crimson Dawn, because we know he's going to rise to that level at some point. So we'll have to see if there's like a double cross between Maul there, how he plays all that out.
See, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't foresee Dryden Voss taking control of a Crimson Dawn. I think this is totally Maul's play. He's just using Dryden to get to the position where he wants to get to, and ultimately force Dryden Voss to serve him, to serve under him in Crimson Dawn. One other thing I wanted to add, I was so disappointed they didn't get Paul Bettany to do his voice. I thought when we heard that Dryden Voss was going to potentially show up, and then we got confirmation, I was hoping it would be Paul Bettany, but it was just some other voice actor. So if I was able to throw a little Nerf pebble of criticism, you should have, Filoni and company, you should have pulled out the strings to get Paul Bettany to do the voice.
Yeah. We don't know the story that maybe they tried, or maybe he just had a schedule conflict or something, but it's one of those things too.
You make it happen. You make it happen because
right,
Paul Bettany's voice in itself is very iconic. Not just
it's a character.
It's a character. Exactly. Wherever he has a voice, it's very iconic. Obviously we know him from the Vision and Jarvis in the Marvel universe, but no, he made Dryden Voss his own. So it's really hard for me to see anyone else voice him. Although the voice actor did a good job. I give him credit, but I just wish they would have been able to have Paul Bettany do his voice.
Yeah, there was moments in there where he was doing like the right inflections of the tone to kind of sound like Paul Bettany, and after a while, like the suspension of disbelief was gone. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It's Dryden Voss, and I didn't even think about it. But you're right. When initially he started talking, I'm thinking, wait, that's not him. But,
exactly.
All right, we're good. I get it. So at that point, the Maul says he's going to have Lawson help them get past the Imperial blockade, right? They've got the perimeter surrounded and not let anybody in or out of Janix. And so he's going to try to convince Lawson to help him out. And then he taps into the Force before we cut away to the title screen. He taps into the Force and uses that to make a connection with Devin. So they've already kind of maybe not so much in our faces. They haven't really established the fact that they've had that moment. They've had that relationship. It gets explained a little bit later when Dacky confronts Devin about it. But they definitely have a connection there. And he uses that to get inside of her dream and give her that vision of the Armistice fountain, which is the statue with this, I don't know what it was, a sword and a shield or whatever it was. She wakes up from that dream, tells everybody that she's had it. And Dacky suggested it's probably Maul trying to suggest that they go there. And then Devin feels like, I mean, everybody else is like, okay, this is a trap, right? He's trying to set us up. Devin's more of the opinion of, hey, this is an opportunity to escape. Like this is, he's coming to us for this. I don't think anybody really believes the fact that he's doing this in the kindness of his heart or out of the selflessness that he has. And then it's at that point that the Inquisitors walk in because they were right on their trails in that last episode. And they're kind of on their trail like the rest of the episode here going forward. But one thing I just want to throw out there again, we brought it up already the last 2 episodes. The Crow, 11th brother, still is not speaking, right? We said it was Clancy Brown that voiced him in the Tales of the Jedi with the Ahsoka episode. He's not saying anything. He didn't say anything again throughout the last 2 episodes. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody's looked into this. Maybe it's not bothering anyone else like it is me. But when you got Clancy Brown voicing a character and he's so embedded in Star Wars, he's done so many characters in Star Wars already. Why would you not have him do the voice or at least speak? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, especially because he's always made himself available for these projects. There might be a reason why he's not speaking, but again, I thought it would be a no-brainer to at least have him come in and say a line. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah. All right. Well, they get to that statue. Maul's there waiting, and then Maul tells Dacky that he says he wants to get them off the planet. Both Rook and Lawson. It's interesting because Rook was both like, I can't believe we're doing this. And Lawson's like, I can't believe we're doing this. Like nobody wants this deal except for Darth Maul or Maul, I should say. And then, maybe Devin and I guess maybe Dacky to some extent because they are on the run at that point. But he says these are dangerous times for brave people. And you can tell Maul's faking it until he can make it. Like, I don't believe he believes a single word that he's saying here, but he says, these are dangerous times for brave people. I wish only to see you evade the Empire's grasp with me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And so Lawson knows that, knows a way to get out of there. Maul says that he wants the Alliance. I like when 2B said, although he looks very untrustworthy.
Right.
Yeah, and you're looking at him, you can see him in the background. He looks like the devil with horns and red paint and stuff. And like, yeah, that's a look of untrustworthy people.
Yep.
But yeah, they agree. And as they're walking away, that's when Daki's like, hey, you've been hiding something from me, right? There's a connection there. Devin explains that all kind of happened back when they were in the casino and that they had that moment where, she says, Maul saved our lives. He brought us to safety. When she says those lines, the first thing that came to mind was like, oh my gosh, she's suffering from like Stockholm syndrome. You know what I mean? Like she's starting to really truly believe that Maul is looking out for her and is trying to protect her. I don't think she denies that, or I think she totally believes that Maul wants to bring down the Empire, but it's for his own reasons and not for hers. Exactly. But it is interesting that she's suddenly starting to feel that way, Yeah,
I think that like I said, she is not a typical Jedi or a typical Padawan. She understands that her life is as it is right now. If they continue on this path, she's just going to be on the run for the rest of her life. And I think she's come to the conclusion that that's not what she wants. And really the only way to try to get out of that is to follow him. At least that's what he's telling her. And she's starting to believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can slowly, it's been a gradual thing. You and I talked about this, about whether or not, I just want to pause here because I want to ask this question now since we're kind of talking about it. But remember we talked about how we wanted to see Devin's, if she was going to churn, we didn't want it to feel abrupt,
Right.
Like it felt like it had to be a gradual thing. Do you think they did enough in these 2 episodes coupled with, the last 2 or even all the way back from the very, very beginning? Do you feel like that transition felt organic or natural, or do you feel like it was forced? No pun intended. Do you feel like it was forced in any way?
I don't think it was forced. Did it happen a little bit quicker than I would have really liked? Yes. But she just saw her mentor get filleted. Right. Like the way Maul set it up, and this was Maul's doing. He set it up so that she would see him get killed.
Right.
That is what he wanted her to see.
Yep.
She gave into her rage, and now she's where she's at right now. Typical path to the dark side. Now, do I think she's going to be a typical dark side acolyte, aka Sith or apprentice of some kind? No, I do think that she's going to walk that fine line of, I know I need to follow this guy to try to accomplish what I want to accomplish, but I have to try to remain true to what I was taught. At least I hope that's how it works. It seems like it's set up for that. But we'll see in the next season how that progresses, because it's obvious the way that she looked at the lightsaber at the end and the way she grabbed it and she's like, I'm ready.
Right.
She's ready to go full force, no pun intended, forward to learn what Maul wants to teach her.
Okay. So you feel like she's probably going to try to walk that fine line of, doing what he needs to do, giving into her anger and all that. But at the end of the day, she's going to come out
right.
ahead.
And I think one of the balancing factors will be for her, and I hope this is the case anyway, is Riley. Riley is still around, and he saw the exact same thing. Supposedly, I have a theory. He saw what he thought he saw his father get killed, just like she saw her master get killed.
That's right.
It could be a scenario where the relationship, and she sees how he handles it, and then she sees how she's handling it. That could, that relationship could be what keeps Devin like teetering the fence, but not going one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping
we talked
we'll
about that last
yeah.
episode where he acts as kind of like that center or the anchor.
Exactly.
When she goes too far. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'd like to see that too. Okay. We'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to that here in a little bit when we get to that area. But going back to where we are, Maul and them reach this point that Lawson's talked about. The exit's being blocked by a ton of Imperial stormtroopers. We've got a couple of speeder bikes in there. And of course, there's that big ATST. Spybot jams the comms, and then Maul goes in. And that was just an incredible Force Unleashed sequence of events that happens there with him taking the speeder bikes out. The others were helping as well, but him fighting that ATST, I know they kind of spoiled it in one of the teasers and one of the TV spots that they had released just prior to that, but I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's almost exactly how what's his name? Galen Skywalker takes one out in The Force Unleashed, if you've ever played that video game. So, but still very cool. Like the fact that he took the leg off and then, sends the lightsaber up the back and takes it down. I mean, he had his really, his walk away with the explosions in the background moment in that moment. But I think that was also a moment for everybody to realize, like, holy crap, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. No pun intended again. But, especially in Riley's eyes, you know what I mean? Like she's like, we can take he's saying, I'm going to take on the Empire. And I think a lot of them are doubting the fact that who can really do this. But I mean, that takes a lot of technique, and he certainly shows how powerful he is. And so that might've been something else to kind of help her sway into the camp of, hey, maybe this guy's not so bad after all, or at the very minimal, he's a means to an end.
Yeah. I think at that point, that's what she sees in him. It could be something else moving forward. But you got to understand, it's Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer is the face, and I think his name is Galen Merrick, the Star Killer from The Force Unleashed.
What did I say?
Skywalker.
Oh, geez, I didn't mean to say that. Star Killer,
hey, we're all shook. It's okay.
I haven't played that game in forever. It's been a while. It's been a minute, as they say.
But that was it was almost shot for shot from that scene from the. I don't remember if it's from the original Force Unleashed or Force Unleashed 2. But it's Sam Witwer. He is the face. He is Galen Merrick. He is Star Killer.
That's true.
So
he did voice him. So
they're going to, and they also mocapped him for it, and they used his face for it. So that was totally a Filoni doing him a solid and throwing that into the show, I think.
Yeah, and there was something else too. They kind of played this up in this episode, and I don't know how to read it. It's probably nothing, but they really put an emphasis and a focus on Riley's, dead aim. Like he was taking out stormtroopers with his little, stun blaster there for a while. And then later on, he takes a couple shots. And then when his dad's like, hey, no, stay back, he doesn't listen to him, and he kind of saves his life. So, I mean, he's like his father, right? He's following his father's footsteps. He's got a good aim. So we'll see if that gets picked up in season 2, or if they kind of play on that more. But I did want to point that out, that this is that first moment where he did take someone out. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that whole dragging of the lightsaber down. I mean, you talk about intimidation,
Yep.
right? And fear, creating fear amongst the Empire so that he can like feed off of that negative fear energy from the dark side. I mean, it's all just well done. I just really enjoyed it, all of it.
Yeah. One thing I
Visually, it
want
was
to talk
really
about Riley is that, there was a line in there that says, hey, where Lawson tells Riley, hey, remember what I taught you. So
Oh, yeah.
so it's obvious he's had some training with the blaster. Now, the one thing, and this is again another little Nerf pebble thing. Dad, Brander Lawson, turn it off, stun. Let him kill those SOB stormtroopers. Don't stun him. Let him kill him. He's still a child, but he's a grown child. Let him kill him. Let that's what you're supposed to do to Stormies. You're supposed to take him out. You should have switched it to regular, not stun, and let Riley kill those people, those stormtroopers.
Yeah, he's a very protective father in that sense. To make sure
Yes.
that his son didn't have to go through what he's gone through. War is hell, as they say.
Yep, absolutely.
Quickly. So Tiger Lily said, I thought the 11th brother wasn't speaking because he was with Merrick, and it's a chain of command thing or respect thing because Merrick ranks higher, so he can't speak in his presence. I like that idea. That's cool.
Yeah.
At least it would give me something to kind of hang my hat on there, but I appreciate that. And then Alex just chimed in. So, hey, Alex, thanks for joining us as well. Okay, so they make their way through the tunnels. They kind of drop down to the bottom, or I guess they're making their way underneath at this point. Lawson's on the edge because he feels like any moment now, Maul's going to double cross him, especially now that they've gotten past the perimeter, so they don't technically need them anymore. This is interesting where Rook was asking, like, what do we do about the old man? Like, we're not seriously going to bring a Jedi with us. And Maul's response was, oh, have some respect, Rook. He is a Jedi master and we need him for now. So he does
for now.
He puts that at the very end, right? It's but this goes back to what Sam Witwer had said before the series started, that Maul is classically trained, and he is of the ilk that believes that, hey, there was a more honorable time where Jedi and Sith were like the powers in the galaxy, and the Empire is they're just terrible people, right? They have no,
right.
I don't know. I don't want to say like morale, because that's not morality. It's nothing about that, but he just looks at them differently. And so I think in some regards, I do believe that Maul was looking at Daki and has some level of respect for him because he is a knight. He has been trained in the Force. He is a Force user, not necessarily a peer. And I think probably that played out, especially later on, because we see Daki's able to kind of hold his own for the most part. Like, he's very, very well trained, way more than I thought he was initially.
Exactly.
Although he did have his moment at the very beginning too, when he, landed and sent that whole ship up into the air and stuff. So he had his very heroic moment, but I felt like he was definitely able to hold his own. But I do believe him, although he did kind of have that clarifying statement at the very end of saying, for now. So like, yeah, he's great. Let's respect him. But when push comes to shove, he's out of here. We'll get rid of him when we don't need him, kind of thing. So the Inquisitors then are kind of debriefed on what happened with the ATST. They're kind of, there's a moment there where Merrick is like looking at that. Did you notice that he's looking at that stormtrooper?
Yeah.
And he like gets up in his face and he's kind of like looking at him real creepily. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do there. If he was trying to get a sense for him or read him in some way. I didn't understand that, but maybe they were just doing that for the eerie effect.
I thought, okay. And I'll save my French, but I thought he was looking at him and it was like, no, Sherlock, like, yeah, I could see that,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Captain Obvious, Private
exactly,
Obvious here. Yeah.
Exactly. Thanks, Captain. That's what I thought it was, is that he was the stormtrooper was explaining, the stormtrooper commander was explaining, and he just looked at him like, yeah, no crap,
Oh yeah, we got it. Yeah. All right. I like that too. They kind of, again, through the Force or, oh crap, I already forgot the stinking word again, that Force power. So one of them has it. They've done it a couple of times where they both kind of walk past the grate and then they look back like, something there, like there's a disturbance there, or we're being led that way. And so anyways, they kind of end up following them down there, going underground as well. Eventually our heroes come across this vat of like acid from all the waste that's been coming in from Janix. I don't know what they're eating in Janix and why it's acidic, but I don't know, dietary problems, I guess.
Yeah.
But 2B has this little funny moment there of like, oh, I'm going to report this right away, and that this they can't send it. And watch Maul's face. He's just looking at him like, who are you? Like,
right.
I think 2B gets a sense of that because he's like, okay, maybe this is not the priority right now or whatever.
Exactly.
He had a good moment there. I enjoyed that. And then they find the old skiff, and then they end up kind of they send Spybot out to kind of churn up one of the ones that's still active, and they're going to use this as a way to get over and cross. So Riley and Lawson, they go across there first. They had a nice little moment there where he finally comes to him and says, "Look, man, I'm sorry, I haven't been there for you." He blames himself for what happened to Riley, and I get all that. I don't know if it was a deep enough moment or they spent enough time to really kind of let that moment sink in, but you have essentially a father saying, look, I wasn't there for you and you could have died is what he was trying to say. And I'm really sorry for that. And hopefully that will never happen again now. But he says, look on the bright side, this is the most time we've spent with each other for a while. And that was kind of a cute moment that Riley would do that, kind of diffuse that conversation by saying something, bringing some levity into it. The best part of though was Spybot, because he retches. He's like, love or father and son relationships, get me out of here kind of thing.
Exactly.
That was another good moment there. And then we get to the last part, which is kind of the big apex in this episode. This is where 2B and Riley have now made it across, and Docky can sense something. If you notice, Docky starts to sense it. No one else does. And my thought on that is he's just so in tune with the force and the light side of the force that it's like the dark side is a presence, right? And as those two were getting closer, he could kind of feel that creeping presence coming, and knew something was going on. He says someone's approaching, and man, what they did with the audio here, where you could kind of hear like the footsteps, and then they kind of take the camera around the corner, and then they pull back on it as the Inquisitors are running in, and they just jump right into the fight. That was really great. Like that was right out of, it's very suspenseful the way they did that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I was like, I knew who it was, but the way that they shot that with the angles and with the sound, it was still surprising, because what I expected him to do like the villain walk around the corner, but no, they gave us those angles, they gave us a sign, and they just jumped right in, and that's not what I expected. So I thought that was a good touch there.
On top of that, you can hear I don't think it's Merrick. I think it is the crow. He has this kind of screeching sound that he makes from time to time, and they threw that in there as well. But again, it was very suspenseful and kind of eerie the way they just came around, like very monster like. So the Inquisitors, both the crow, he was already kind of creepy, especially from Tales of the Jedi, but they've done a really good job of both Merrick and him being a different level of Inquisitors. They're not like some of the other brothers and sisters that we've had. These guys are really creepy, like they're frightening at times, and I think that's what they were really trying to play up. And on top of that, you got Vader coming at the very end, and so it was all put together really well here. But stormtroopers show up as well, and so there's a big battle going on. So now we got everybody fighting each other with lightsabers, and then we've got everyone else fighting or shooting at everybody else on the other side there. Rook and that Mandalorian, they make it across there. Maul tells Merrick that he's a pawn, that he was sent here by Palpatine to be killed just like him. I don't know if he was necessarily trying to convince him anything other than, hey, you're fighting for the wrong person. I don't know what his play was there. I don't think he was trying to recruit him, but maybe he was just trying to distract him, but he's not wrong. We all know what Palpatine does. And then like probably the saddest moment for me was Spybot dying. Like I was not expecting I think we said Spybot would live, if I'm not mistaken, when we did Death Watch back in our final hype show. Yeah. But I was not expecting that. That was very unexpected to see him get cut in half, fall into the acid, and then have him go master. Like, oh, come on, you're pulling at my heart here. Why are you doing that?
That was kind of heartbreaking, because I did think he would survive. Like I said last show, when we broke down episodes 7 and 8, I thought Two Boots would die, but no, it was Spybot.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. Spybot, no, it's exactly what I was thinking. Like that would have been my moment that I turned to the dark side at that point. Yeah, or I guess Maul was already in the dark side. The light side, I don't know. Alex says, bro, that was the worst moment of my life. So yeah, I think there was more remorse for Spybot than there was Docky, if I'm being honest. So
Well,
I don't
the
know what
thing
that
is,
says, but
we always had the opinion that he was going to have
the
to die.
donkey was going to go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I because of how things went for him these last few episodes, I was like, is there a small chance he survives? Maybe, but no, he just went down by a different hand. That's
Yeah.
that's the one thing that happened. But yeah, he ended up not surviving. So R.I.P. Master Donkey.
Yeah. And then Maul gets like visibly angry the fact that Spybot died. That was his pet. We saw him kind of tap him, pet him on the head there in like one of the episodes, more like 7 or 8 episode, number 7 or 8. I thought he was going to go like John Wick, like you just killed my dog and suddenly just take out everybody.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. I mean, he was still fighting Merrick. Merrick was still force pushing him. He was force pushing back, but you could see that at least Maul he was angry and didn't like the fact that they just killed his dog. So I appreciate that he had some kind of emotion there that was shown for that. And then we have, of course, while that's going on, we've got the 11th brother fighting both Devon and Dacky. It was weird at times. It felt like it was equal. And then, they'd pair off to a different group. And then that felt like it was equal. And so I get it. I mean, there was so much lightsaber fights in here.
Yes.
Like, I don't know that we've ever had this much outside of like the Clone Wars in the arena scene of the Coliseum. I don't know that we've had this much lightsaber combat going on at one time in anything in Star Wars, at least that's not a video game,
No, I agree. And not only did we have a lot of lightsabers, but the choreography was amazing.
Yeah.
And this is an animated show. And if you looked at it through, like, if you squinted or if you had like shaded glasses, like you looked at it through sunglasses, it would look like real people. Like it was actually a movie, not an animated show. It looked so clean. It was so good. Again, easily the best animation in any Lucasfilm animation project. They took it to another level. Could have been, it's obviously new technology, new animation techniques, but I really think the matte paintings that they're utilizing kind of brings that depth to make just everything look so much more real. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, there was so many great moments too, where they would just pause, like the picture that we use here in the back for the thumbnail. That was a great moment where you have all 4 of them fighting and all the lightsabers are locked and it just pauses and they give us that moment and everybody looks at each other. They all look at each other too, like, whoa, we just stopped kind of thing. It was very similar to Duel of Fates where Qui-Gon and Anakin, or sorry, Qui-Gon and Kenobi are fighting Darth Maul. And we get that one moment where they kind of lock sabers and Maul grins, It was just that pause moment of like, look how cool this is. Well, this was like another level here with all 4 of them doing that at the same time, which is great. So going back, Devon jumps over to the skiff that's floating above the acid. And then I think and again, I've only seen it a couple times here, but if I'm not mistaken, it malfunctions or something. And she ends up having to use a force to kind of hold that up, kind of levitate it above so they can use that as that stepping stone, if you will, to make it across there. Icarus's last stand did not really go the way I was planned. I mean, we kind of said that he was going to die just based on his name alone, but that guy took a beating. Like they shot him, I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
He still got up. He stole through his darts, killed 3 more. And then when those 3 guys came and replaced him, he runs and does. I mean, he was already figured like, I'm dead. There's no way I'm going to survive this. But somewhere he gets his surge of adrenaline and like just, linebacker tackles the 3 of them into the acid. Did not expect him to kind of sacrifice his own life or go out the way he did. But wow, what a trooper, man. And there was no emotion from Maul though for Icarus, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. I love the way he went out though.
Yeah, no, he went out. I guess you could say he went out a hero, at least to Maul's team. He went out a hero.
Hero's death, anti-hero death.
Anti-hero death, yeah. And I think, Maul had his hands full for actual reaction. I mean, he was like at a pause when Spybot was sliced in half, or I don't know, sliced in a third. I don't know how you would math that out, but
about a third. Yeah,
about a third. So he had an opportunity to actually process for a split second. Okay, now I'm mad they killed my dog, like you were saying. But I think with Icarus, he was he was already engaged with the Inquisitors. He didn't have time to mourn.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this too. Like after that is when Maul takes his lightsaber and we get one of the more iconic moments. It's right up there with, Vader throwing his lightsaber in Jedi and what's his name from the Acolyte when he threw his lightsaber. But, he throws that lightsaber and it flips around and it cuts the 3 stormtroopers in half. That was exactly right after that moment that Icarus goes
Yep.
down. So maybe that was a direct result of that. But I mean, he realizes, look, man, I'm losing forces and we're getting our butts whooped here. So he's got to step it up there. But Maul, see, I mean, and then he continues to kill more troopers as they show up. He tells Docky to cross, and then Maul separates his lightsaber and then takes on the Crow and Merrick, which was a great moment. The fact that he held his lightsaber out and then took it apart and then posed. I mean, it was like, you're rooting for him. You know what I mean? Like there were moments in there where it felt like he was the hero of all this. And then you have to go back and remember that, wait, no, he's not. He's not the hero.
He's not. Nope.
He's doing this all for himself, for selfish reasons. But dang, it looks cool.
It was
cool.
It's
very stylistic. I love it, you know?
Absolutely.
So he takes the sabers apart, fights Marok and the Crow alone. He jumps for the skiff, and then that's a really great moment. When he jumps for the skiff, Marok throws that lightsaber at him. He seems to like touch the shift to jump further on at the same time that he blocks the lightsaber, Marok's lightsaber. It was all in kind of one swift motion or whatever. And then we get the line of inform him that they are headed his way. I will say this, when that happened, I was like, okay, it's probably going to be Vader now, even though we said we didn't want it. Right. I wasn't really thinking the Grand Inquisitor, just because I don't know. It felt like that would have been, I was thinking it's got to be somebody big. It's either going to be Vader or maybe it's Palpatine, but that seemed like overkill. The Palpatine would get involved in all this, but maybe not, because it was his former apprentice who we wanted dead. But it was enough to leave everybody kind of hanging. And I was thinking, oh man, they're going to cut right there and we're not going to get to see who it is until the next episode. That's not what happened, because we got another death that I was not expecting, or maybe we were. I think we called it out that she might have died, but that moment where Rook, this is where it turned into a horror film. It turned into a monster of the week kind of film, where Rook and the commando take off into the fog, and you hear like fighting, and then you hear Rook, and you can hear her getting crushed, like. And in my head, he's using the Force to just crush her in the Mandalorian armor. You know what I mean? Like a tin can or a aluminum can, and that's how she went out. I don't know if they've confirmed whether or not she died. As someone had put in here that Vanessa Marshall had talked about it, and I have not seen that. It was Justin said Vanessa Marshall explained Rook's disturbing death. So maybe that's the case. Let me know if you're still here, Justin. Let us know what she said on that. But either way, it was very gruesome to kind of hear it audibly. And Devin says, your friends, I'm sorry, they're gone. Oh, wait, no, I jumped ahead. But yeah, I guess, what were you thinking in that moment there, right? When they disappeared and that happened, and then of course Vader makes his way out here.
So I honestly, I didn't think it would be him. And I mentioned that previously in the show, that I thought it would be another known Inquisitor that would show up. But once you heard the breathing, you knew exactly what happened to the Mandalorian Commando and Rook. And that's when we knew it was on. And again, I had like 5 seconds of disappointment as he appeared on screen. But that all dissipated very quickly. And now I 100% support it. And I absolutely believe that it was the right thing to do.
Right decision. Yep. But yeah, I mean, you get the breathing first. He looks scary as he comes out of that. And then, they did a really good job of the illuminating his face and his body when he ignites the lightsaber. Echoes of Rogue One in the tunnel there of Rogue One. The weird thing was, when they came back to episode 10 and they started us off, the lighting was totally different. Yeah. I don't know if you caught that. Like, it's very bright, and they may have done that for, I don't know, dramatic reasons. But then when he ignites a lightsaber at the very beginning of episode 10, it doesn't illuminate it nearly as much as it does in episode 9 for whatever reason. But I thought it was brilliant. I love the way he made his entrance, and then they just cut there. So yeah, had this been a week wait in order to get episode 10, I would have rioted. Like, the fandom would have lost their minds having to wait a week and talk about all this.
Yeah, that would have been a bad May 4th surprise.
Justin said, Vanessa said Vader ripped the lungs out of her via the Force. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, God.
Okay, that's
well,
cool.
You said Vader's a monster, and that's exactly what he is. He's a monster.
Yeah, he definitely was here. All right, let's roll into episode 10. There's a lot that goes on here, too. So, Maul immediately jumps out. It was interesting. Maul, jumped out to attack Vader at first. And it's interesting, too, because he doesn't know who he is at first.
Right.
I thought maybe he would see him and go, okay, that's got to be Anakin Skywalker. And the more I thought about it, it's like, no, he doesn't know. Like he knows that someone's replaced him. And I want to say he knows that he knows who Darth Vader is. I think he may even have suspicions that it might have been Anakin Skywalker. I forget now from all of that. But either way, he doesn't, he has some lines in there that kind of help us understand where his head's at is like, hey, you're not an Inquisitor. That's very clear because you don't fight like one. You don't look like one. And you're way more powerful than they are. Because Vader, I mean, throughout all of this, they did a great job of ensuring that Vader was the legendary character that he should be. You know, when you think about where was it? It was in the Bad Batch, and they were talking about Dave Filoni was talking about bringing Palpatine onto the episodes because remember, I think it was in season 3 that Palpatine shows up, and there's a moment there where he's kind of showed up, and he mentions that anytime you bring those characters on, that they're so iconic, they're so legendary, consequences have to happen.
Right.
Somebody has to die. You cannot waste that opportunity. And so you have to make them larger than life. And they did a great job of that because even as powerful as Maul is and Daki has shown to be against the Inquisitors and the potential that Devin has, they really didn't do much to Vader at all. Like it was most of the time he was fighting with one hand. It felt like he was toying with them at times, which we've seen him do before. You know, he doesn't get to fight a lot with his lightsaber, to be honest, right? He doesn't get to fight other people that are force sensitive and have lightsaber combat skills. He doesn't get to do that very much, especially now since so many of the Jedi are on the run and they've all been killed, that he relishes in those moments. He enjoys that. He loves the fact that he can play and play with his food, if you will. And we saw that with him. His strikes were super powerful. Like you could see visibly how every time they would try to defend, you know, they were these blows that were coming at him were just weighing on them. I mean, there was taking the life almost literally out of them, taking the strength out of them. And he was just slowly wearing them down over time. But it was just, again, so calculated, so methodical in how they presented him and presented, you know, his power, the gravity of his power, that it was just an amazing job of bringing him to the screen and seeing these great characters, again, who we thought were great and great fighters, just really get their butts whooped on to him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see Vader in all his glory. I think you're exactly right. Initially, he was toying with them, but then he realized that, hey, they have some skill, and then he brought his other hand to the saber, and then you saw him just wail on those 3 even more. I will want to say something, but there were, you know, between Devin, Maul, and Daki, they were able to get like a couple of hits on him via like a force push or something like that.
Yeah.
Give props to Daki. He was the only one to land a lightsaber blow to Darth Vader. So that I know we talked in the past in other breakdowns of episodes where, you know, maybe he had to be proficient with a lightsaber, but maybe he wasn't like a great swordsman. He proved that, yes, he was. And
took that back. Yeah.
I take that back completely. And he might have survived if Maul didn't push him right back into Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I thought that shows you, you know, if you had any feelings of Maul being a hero because of how he was fighting and how he was essentially fighting with the heroes in Devin and Daki. No, he is bad
he's
man. He's still a jerk. He's still a bad man. And that proved that. But that's what we want. We don't want to see an anti-hero Maul. We want to see, you know, Maul in his glory as he's supposed to be.
Yeah, Paisley said when they tried to force push him, he only slid back a little bit. And that's been Anakin's thing. Like Anakin has always had an incredible grasp over the control of the Force, you know? And so if someone is, and this is me speaking from my experience playing the Star Wars role-playing games, tabletop games. So this is, just take it for what it's worth. You know, to be able to get force push, to counter that, you have to have control of the Force to keep yourself, you know, mobile and stationary. And you could tell, like, it was just these small things that pushed him back, more of an annoyance rather than anything else. You know, he wasn't put on his back. He wasn't like, you know, he didn't lose his footing in any way. He was very poised the entire time. So, I mean, that in itself had to be intimidating. You know, they're giving everything they got, and this guy just keeps coming at them over and over and over again, which was great. But There was a moment in there too where Vader cuts into Maul's thigh immediately at the very beginning. He cuts into it, and I think later on he hits it again or something
Yeah,
in
he
that
hits it
same
twice.
spot.
Yep.
Yeah, which is that put Maul back again a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it would have made a difference because Maul was clearly outmatched. I think Maul knew that as well. Although he seems to believe that he knows how. At least maybe he sold this to Devin at the very end there. But he's like, "Hey, I'll get you trained, and together we'll take him down." So he's got to believe in his head, at least to some extent, that he would be able to. Maybe he's writing this up as I was injured and I wasn't at my best and I just lost all my people, or I don't know what excuses he'll make, but he seems to have it in his head that he could potentially take on Vader as long as Devin is there with him, which is foolish, I think, but
Right. No, absolutely.
not going to happen. So Vader, he's blocking the entire time too. Like we didn't talk about this. The entire time he's fighting them, he's blocking blaster bolts from like
Yep.
Devin and two boots and anyone else that shoot him. I mean, he's just doing all the things all at the time
Right.
there. Lawson, Two Boots, Riley, and Vario, they all make a run for it. They head out. They run into some temple ruins. Vader follows them in there. Docky tells Lawson and Riley to run so that they can stay and fight Vader again. And then that's when Vader tries to start pulling parts of the temple down on top of them. And that's when Maul says, "You are no Inquisitor." And then when Maul attacks him, he's getting out muscled. Like the strength of Vader is so great. You can see it. When he gets hit, his lightsaber like physically goes down from the weight of it, from the power of it. And then there's a moment in there where he almost has googly eyes. I don't know how to explain this. It's like the animation where he's like completely surprised about what happened. It comes right before he says a line, "Who are you?" Like,
Yeah.
who are you? If you look at Maul's eyes, he's almost got these huge, massive, like comic book eye or comically funny eyes of like, who the hell are you? Like, how are you doing all of this? Devin and Docky then join into the fight. This is where Vader force chokes Docky, which I thought, oh crap, he's dead. There's no way he's gonna get through this, right? And then he gets force pushed, which breaks all that. And then he has Maul on his back, and he's nearly killing him when Devin shows up out of nowhere, and she blocks that lightsaber. This happens a little bit later with Docky as well. So Maul's on his back, he's getting beat. Devin first comes in, she stops, they get engaged into the fight, and then later on, the same thing happens again when Maul's wailing on him. Docky rolls in to save him, and it's just sad because I think in Docky's mind, I think he was finally starting to believe that, hey, this Maul is a companion at least. I don't think he's a good person, but he definitely is a companion, somebody that I can trust, and that was where he went wrong with him. So,
exactly.
Eventually, Devin, Docky, and Maul, they all run away. Vader pulls down debris on them again. They get away, and Vader is left trying to stop the rubble from falling down on him. And then we get their title screen, which was amazing. Like, I love the way they transitioned that. They said, Maul, Shadow Lord. They play the Duel of Fates music there. And then chapter 10, the Dark Lord. And then you get the breathing while that's going on. Like, it was just like a very, very powerful intro to give us in the title screen, and all that was just perfect. So really enjoyed everything there. Okay, so we get to the extraction. So this is where Devin calls Vario and says they need to be ready to leave immediately. Or it's not Devin. Vario calls. Dryden calls Vario.
Dryden calls Vario. Dryden Voss. Yep.
Yep. And says, hey, you guys got to be ready to go. So they start moving to the rendezvous point. And Maul says this enemy is different. Or no, it's Docky that says this enemy is something different. I fear what my instincts are telling me. The Dark Lord of the Sith. That's interesting that he knows that title. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe because they've been running around the streets and somehow they've picked this up. I don't know how he would have known that they use this title of the Dark Lord of the Sith. Well, it's probably nothing, but
I think he would have heard that because remember in Phantom Menace they acknowledged the Sith had returned.
Sure.
That there's no, Mace says, there's no doubt that warrior was a Sith Lord. So I think that would obviously reverberate around the whole Jedi Order because, again, the Sith had been extinct for a millennia. So when they return, that's like headline news for the Jedi. So I think he would have understood that coming from being a Jedi Master in the Old Republic, not the Old Republic, but like the Republic right before it fell to the Empire. I think he would have known what, that title.
I think he would have known as Sith Lord. I think Dark Lord of the Sith is a title that's exclusive and specific to Darth Vader, though. That's where I'm questioning, like, how would he have known that title? You know what I mean? But I don't know. Maybe that'll come out later down the road, or maybe it won't because he's dead now. Who knows?
Well, doesn't just for food for thought, when Palpatine is telling Anakin about the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise, doesn't he call him a Dark Lord of the Sith in that whole speech?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe it's kind of a general term. I'd always associated that term specific with Vader, since it was Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith.
Right.
He kind of had that single title, but yeah, you're right. Maybe that is just some part of the lore that was passed on, so he knew. That's what we do. We sweat the details here on the show.
Yeah, that's what Star Wars fan is supposed to do.
Yeah, it's in our DNA, to be honest.
Yes, exactly.
But Maul says they need to embrace their anger, give into that. Daki has a moment there where he's like almost considering it. I don't know if you noticed that. They kind of played it up like, okay, maybe it'd be okay this one time kind of thing, right? I'm sure the circumstances in which they were in probably dictated a lot of, the acceptance of that, right? Like,
exactly.
Okay, I'm willing to try anything at this point because, this light side stuff ain't working so well right now for me.
Right.
But who knows? He says, Maul responds back that my master purged the Jedi Order and made himself the Emperor. He says, use your rage and unleash your potential, talking to Devin there. Then Maul tries to get Daki to use aggression to outthink Vader, because he is kind of making fuzzy logic, right? Like, hey, he knows how to fight Jedi. And so you got to think differently. You can't be, quote, a Jedi. You're going to have to be something different. Hey, how about I don't know, dark side user? That would be different. He wouldn't know how to fight you on that. And then like all that's going on and Daki's considering it. And I know Alex is in the chat, my brother right now, but he texted me when it happened, but he like got jump scared. Like a lot of us did when Vader's like comes right through the wall.
That got me too.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a horror film. You know what I mean? Like it just had the jump scares and those moments in there where you're not expecting it, but yeah, he's back. It doesn't stop. He is a monster. So great stuff there. Paisley said, sweep the leg. Yeah, we know what that is. Yep. And then Reader Reborn says Maul was burdened with glorious purpose, similar to what Loki said. Okay, so we get to Devin and the Inquisitors. They walk out of the temple, and that's when they run into Marok and the 11th brother. She does pretty good. Like she's able to kind of hold her own there. She's fighting them off, and then that's when Daki like throws his lightsaber. It was very much like a the Anakin Skywalker moment in Attack of the Clones when Kenobi throws his lightsaber to him, and then suddenly, or is it Attack of the Clones? No, it's
Attack of the Clones. Yeah.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones. Right?
Yeah, when Dooku injures him, he's on the floor, and he throws him his lightsaber, and then Anakin fights him. Yeah,
it was kind of cool. It was kind of similar to that moment where suddenly she's got two lightsabers, dual wielding, is doing pretty good. So things like that, you could argue that are there for eye candy, but I think what they're trying to do is just continue to establish that she's very good and she's got a lot of potential and she can definitely hold her own. She doesn't fight just one way; she's got multiple ways that she can fight as well. These are all the things that Maul has seen in her. Of course. And so, yeah, she does a pretty good fight, puts up a pretty good fight. And then we get to Maul. We see him. He's fighting Vader now one-on-one because Daki doesn't have a lightsaber.
Right.
All right. We cut very quickly now to the non-Force users, and they're running to what they think is the shuttle. It turns out to be a Lambda class shuttle. Good to see those back already. But a Lambda class shuttle, it's the Imperial shuttle that's there. They turn around and run away from it because that's not their shuttle. They're being bombarded by the shuttle from here on out. Like they keep cutting back and forth. So they're under fire from this shuttle that's stalking them essentially there. And then later on, they need a distraction so they can get this heavy repeat blaster and take out those gunships. And they talk Vario into doing the distraction. He becomes the Ewoks of Return of the Jedi, where they send him out to distract, right? He's just as tall probably as well. We go back to the fighting now. This is where Vader is just laying into Maul again over relentlessly. Boom, 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 boom. And that's when Daki and Devin are still fighting too. They're fighting the brothers now. And then they all eventually go one-on-one. You've got Devin versus the Crow. You've got Daki versus Marok. And then you've got Vader fighting Maul. Daki disarms Marok from his lightsaber. And before he can rearm himself, Daki force pushes him over the edge and down below. And that's the end of Marok, at least for now. We know he's not dead.
Right.
But I don't know. I was hoping that maybe in this series we would get some answers as to what Marok really is. Is he alive right now? Is he already dead? He does speak in the Ahsoka series, right? He says, "As you wish," I think is the only thing that I remember him saying. I mean, he said other things as well, but that line stood out to me because the Princess Bride. But he says other things, so he was already talking there. He's talking now. I don't know. I was hoping we'd get some answers. Maybe we will in season 2. Maybe we never get answers as to what Marok's true, origins are. But safe to say he's alive at this point.
Yeah. Actually, I think he's dead, and I think he will be brought back.
Do you think that one killed him right there?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
There's nothing for him to come back to force wise, right? He's not powerful. He's not as powerful as Vader, so he doesn't have that ability to like Dooku and Vader can to like levitate. He doesn't have that ability. And kudos to Daki again. I know I gave him a lot of flack for not being, a proficient warrior. He was more of the wise sage type of Jedi master. He was the only one to take one of those 3 out. So more props to Master Daki, and rest in peace.
Yep. So Devin and the 11th brother, they head into the temple. They're still fighting. They're kind of being backed into that temple. And then Maul and Daki are now fighting Vader. So it's a little bit more even now, maybe. We get we get the little distraction set up now where Vario runs in and tries to get them, attack them. I like how he prepped himself up by saying, "You're not small. You're super tall.
You're super tall. Yeah.
You're super tall." Hey, I've said the same thing, quite honestly. But yeah, he runs in. Lawson and Two Boots then pick up the heavy repeat blaster or the cannon, whatever it was. Audio description said it was a cannon, heavy cannon, laser cannon.
I thought it was
like a heavy repeat blaster, but
I thought those were the E-Web cannons.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
From Empire Strikes Back.
For Empire Strikes Back, yeah. That's what I thought it was.
I think it's similar. That's how I interpreted as well. That's a pretty heavy thing, though. I mean, it usually has to be mounted. So the fact that Lawson was able to pick it up, I mean, whatever. He had his commando moment, his Arnold Schwarzenegger moment there.
Definitely. To get to the chopper.
But he picks it up, and then Two Boots he runs off, and Riley saves Lawson at that point. Even though he was told not to be moving, he did what his father told him not to do, but it saved his life. That's what
saved his life
behind, and shot those two. So they kind of have that nice little father and son moment of, hey, let's kill more Stormies. And then 2B finally gets onto that repeat blaster and takes out that shuttle. So you think that's all going well. And then we get the famous last words of anybody in Star Wars: "Together we can do this," kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is where Vader keeps fighting him. He's still he's doing one-hand fighting. He's still very comfortable. Like, even with everything that's going on, he doesn't look like he's broken a sweat, quite honestly, at this moment. He almost kills Maul again, and this is where Maul is saved because Daki comes in and puts his lightsaber up to kind of stop that. And then they both force push Maul back, but again, he just looks annoyed more than anything else. Like, he really didn't do a whole lot.
They force push Vader back.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, they force push Vader back. Yeah, which
Yeah, he was just like, ugh. It's like it was like a step back, really, with how big Vader is. It's just like he took a step back. That's really what it was, and then he was back at it.
Yeah, prolonging the inevitable. And then we've got the 2 gunships then show up into this, right? And this is typical Star Wars, right? You've got multiple battles happening at the same time. Love that formula. It's worked really well for Star Wars, and other franchises have taken it. But Two Boots then takes out one of them, but then he's shot. I thought he was going to die there when he got shot. I was like, oh, that's the end of Two Boots. Kind of saw it coming, but nope, he lived because Riley was there, right? Riley grabs him, picks him up. Looks like he is wounded. I don't remember if they kind of show Two Boots at the very end, and I don't think they should necessarily show any damage. I have to go back and look to see if he was damaged or indeed damaged, but he was limping off with Riley.
Yeah. I think he got hit like in the lower quadrant, like on his what would be the right side, but it definitely probably not a vital hit. I mean, I'm not saying they're the same type of droid, but we saw K2SO take like 20 shots of blaster fire before he actually creeled over. So I think one hit to a droid like him, and they're probably made a little bit more sturdy than a standard battle droid. So really, especially if you're hit in a non-critical area, I think he's all right.
And eventually Lawson is pinned down and he's behind a tree. with Riley, Vario, and Two Boots on the other side of the imp. So he's in between both of them, right? And they're trying to get to the shuttle, and he's on that side. And this is all going to paint the tragedy or the tragic moment maybe later with him. Okay, we're at pretty much kind of now we're back to the fight again. So we've got Maul and Daki. They can't seem to take Vader down. They're frustrated. Vader looks like he's still having fun at this point. Yeah, he cuts Maul's thigh a second time there. That same wound, he kind of re-hits it again. Vader uses the Force to stop Maul's blade from hitting him. And then Maul does the same thing. That was a really cool, iconic moment too. We don't see that very often where Force users are able to kind of stop a blade. It was very much the Old Republic. During the Old Republic, this happens a lot.
Right.
But it's been a lost art. Like, we haven't seen that canonically in a very long time.
Yeah, well, I think the last time we saw it was Rise of Skywalker.
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren and Rey. Yeah.
And Rey, right. And when that happened at that time, I remember when we did the breakdown for that show, I remember talking about that as being like, okay, that's probably something about the dyad, right? That's how I wrote it off. It's like, okay, they're unique and they would be able to do some really crazy stuff, even though that was taught, years ago, thousands and thousands of years ago. The fact that both of these guys did it was very interesting. So I don't know. I hope they didn't open up a can of worms with this, but I love seeing it. One of the more infamous uses of this is if you ever watch the Old Republic, Star Wars, the Old Republic videos, like the CG videos that they've made. There's a moment in there where Satele Shan does the same thing. There's actually a moment in there where she's kind of holding Malgus's lightsaber, and it's just like, she's keeping it at bay the entire time. But the fact that they broke the seal on this, and now it's not just the dyad. I love that idea, because I think it certainly makes sense. But either way, it was cool that he did it. Vader did it, and then Maul did the same thing. Oh wait, Maul did it with didn't he do it with in the Acolyte as well?
Maul?
When he was fighting, not Maul, sorry, Vader. When he was fighting what's her name? Okay, it's not important. I was just thinking at the moment there. I think he does use the Force to stop her blade at one point in that fight as well. Okay, we'll keep going here. But he uses he returns they both hold each other's blades there at bay. And then Maul or Vader Force pushes them back, and they kind of look at each other and they get up to go run and fight. And I think that was the moment when they looked at each other. I felt like Daki was like, okay, I can trust this guy. Like he definitely had that look on his face. But Maul can't go because he's now been hit twice in his thigh. I think that was genuine and sincere. I think he probably would have, had he been able to, I think he would have re-engaged with Daki. I still think he would have turned on Daki, and that was his plan all along, because he needed to get Devin to switch, right? But I think he was going to genuinely go up. And when that happened, when he couldn't go, he's like, well, screw it. I guess this is the moment where I'll decide to kind of turn on him, because Daki is just getting pummeled by Vader over and over again. And then while that's going on, if you listen, you can hear Devin scream. And that's when Maul realizes, oh, wait, Devin, I need to do something here. Like, we can't let this go any further, because, he's hurt. And then Maul Force pushes Daki closer to Vader. And at that moment, I thought, okay, there's no way. I mean, he was already getting his butt whooped. Now he's entered this circle of death as close as he was to Vader. It was only going to be a matter of time. Now, the cool thing was that Lawson sees all of this, right? He's up there on that treetop or by the tree or whatever. He's looking down. He sees it. I don't think Lawson's dead. I'll just say that right now.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. They would not have given us that moment. Like, it wouldn't be relevant for Lawson to have seen that or witnessed that if it wasn't going to come up in season 2. And the only way it would come up in season 2 is if he was alive. So I think that was kind of a dead giveaway there. So probably not a big surprise, but the fact that he did notice that is going to be, I think, critical in season 2, especially if it comes around to Devin having to decide about whether to stay with Maul or stay down the path of the dark side or come back to the light, knowing that Maul did that to kill her master is probably going to be fuel for her to go after Maul, especially if he's manipulated her in season 2 and done, all these things to kind of groom her into the person that he needs her to be. Okay. So Vader knocks Daki into that wall. Daki sees that, he looks around, Maul's gone. He's just completely vanished. He's sitting there trying to defend himself, but he's pretty much all alone. I was hoping that the music here would kind of be more emotional, similar to
Mhm.
with what we got like in Return of the Jedi when Luke is pounding on Vader. And that was what came to mind too. Is like, wow, this is just like an inverse, right? This is a Vader's done it to to this person and probably so many other people, and then he gets the reverse of that with his own son in Return of the Jedi. But to Docky's credit, this is where he does get the glancing blow
Right.
off his armor. I don't know, man. I don't. I've seen a couple people say he would not have done that. Like that shows that Vader as being I don't know vulnerable and that he wouldn't. I don't buy that. Like
No.
Luke did it, and I get that was totally different. It was a little bit later, but this isn't the first time that Darth Vader has had his butt handed to him. Like
Yeah.
there's other times, and again, they're in the comic books, and you can say that that's not canon if you want. But that's not true. But he's fought other people, and he hasn't always won these battles
Oh, yeah.
like single handedly. So he is vulnerable.
Exactly. Look at Rebels, and when he fought Ahsoka there, Ahsoka essentially got the best of him.
Yeah,
Obviously, we look at Obi-Wan Kenobi, same thing. Obi-Wan got the best of him. He's not superhuman. He is just very powerful in the Force, and it would make sense for a Jedi Master like Daki to get a hit or two in them. So again, props to him for being the only one to really land a blow on Vader. But he's a Jedi Master, and Maul made it known that hey, he deserves respect, and I think after all he went through and then dying the way he did, he deserves the utmost respect.
and let's be clear, like it's not like he took Vader's arm off.
Right.
It literally was a glancing blow on his armor that had no impact on Vader whatsoever. Right. So, yeah, I think it makes sense that he would get that. It certainly gives him credit for it. Yeah, it gives him street cred for doing that.
Yeah, it's a similar, like you said, Albert. It's a similar blow to what Luke landed in Empire Strikes Back. Similar
Yeah,
type of
it's
blow.
the
Just a
probability
glance.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the probability of that many swings happening, it's bound to happen, and it's going
Right.
to happen to somebody who's like Gaki. So, all right. Anyways, so Vader comes at him. I mean, he's angry at that point. You could see it on Vader's face. Like his whole posture changed, and the way he was coming at him was almost like, okay, you're done. Like that's it. How dare
Not
you
playing
even touch
anymore.
me?
Yep.
Not playing anymore. Right. But yeah, he starts coming at him. He starts relentlessly just chopping down at him, almost like he's got an axe or a battle axe, at him. And that's when Devin gets away from the 11th brother just in time to see Vader being pulled into his blade out of Daki, pulling the blade out of Daki. So she kind of moves over, sees that, and I thought they were going to show it, which I don't know. I actually like this more. I like it. I thought it was more
Yeah.
powerful to see her for the first time when she finally sees it. She doesn't see it happening, but she sees the aftermath of him taking that blade, and he's got a hole bored into his chest with that lightsaber. So you got to think Vader stuck that
Yep.
in there and just left it in there, or twisted it, or did something with it, because it was pretty big and severe. And then we get her moment to her no moment, so her Luke Skywalker moment, or Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Obi-Wan
moment of
Kenobi.
seeing Qui-Gon dying. Right? She says no, 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 no. The music there I thought was great. That was emotional. I think I kind of wanted it to, like I said at the very beginning, I kind of wanted it to be heavier, and it wasn't. But that would be my only small nitpick there. I think it probably did enough there. But she becomes enraged at that point, like we all knew she would. And at that moment, too, I thought, okay, that's it. I mean, this is what we said. That would have to be the catalytic moment for her
Yep.
to suddenly switch and go to the dark side. Turned out that was the case. Maul is watching her as she kind of becomes enraged. He's almost kind of waiting to see, like, okay, did that work? Yes, it did work. Because I mean, she goes at the 11th brother immediately. And I thought she was going to get her moment of, full force, full attack. Doesn't turn out to be the case, because the 11th brother disarms her almost immediately. Then he kicks her in the knee or kicks her in the chest, throws her off the ledge there. She's crying. She's very emotional because of everything that's going on. Maul holds out one half of his lightsaber, another Kylo Ren and Rey moment there, if you will. But he holds out that half of the lightsaber. She pulls it in, ignites it. And then that next shot was the one I was going to originally use for the thumbnail, because it's them posing both with red blades. And that was kind of the beginning of the Master and the Apprentice, as we expect it to be in season 2. But then I thought, well, that might spoil too much. Right. So I didn't want to spoil it with the title, but I did put the Dark Lord on there. And afterwards I was like, I shouldn't have done that. So I ended up going with this one because it was a little bit, okay, expected. But That was a cool shot. If you pause it there where they're both kind of holding their lightsabers, it's a great moment. And it's funny too, because when they first pose, Maul's looking at Devin like, is she doing this? And then when he realizes like, yeah, she is. And then he kind of turns over and looks, and then, he becomes, ready as well. So
yeah, it gives him motivation to get back in the fight. Yep.
So they continue fighting. Dryden comes in, takes out one of the gunships. Vario heads in, but Riley and 2B are pinned down. And then we get Lawson's last lines here of Riley. I know I could have done better, man. I use the word man a lot because I'm old, but I like the fact that he did it. It just felt like very, like, I don't know.
Like something a dad would say.
Yeah, something like a dad would say. Yeah, it felt natural, I guess.
Natural, yeah.
He says, Riley, I know I could have done better, man, but I tried. 2 Boots, promise me, partner. You're going to get him to his mother. Riley, I love you, son. And that's when he picks up the blaster. He starts shooting. He runs out of ammo. He takes a shot to the shoulder. He takes a shot to one of his legs. Neither one of those are like, critical type wounds. So, and then he just he pulls out his blaster and just starts walking, firing as his blaster. And of course, at this point, the stormtroopers have retreated off into the fog. So it's safe to say that if he did live, it's likely because at that point, if I was stormtroopers and suddenly I start dying because there's a heavy repeat blaster, they're going to run and take cover.
Yep.
So we don't know where they went to. They may have run off and just kept running. And maybe he just collapses and falls down or whatever. But I don't think he's dead. That is the last moment we see him. We don't see him actually die. He just kind of goes into the fog. Yeah. So I think we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to be a major player in season 2.
Especially with a major player to Devin's storyline in, her progress or progression as an apprentice to Maul.
Right.
Okay. We go back to Maul. He's watching Devin. She's furiously attacking the 11th brother now. She cuts the 11th brother's knee, so she does get a wound on him. And then he runs off, and Devin chases him, only to be surprised because she's now attacked by Vader. He goes down those steps. And this is another moment where I was like, oh, they're just taking us down there. I was not expecting the Vader to be around the corner. So I don't know where the crow goes at this point, too. Because, if Vader was right there, why wouldn't he have just turned around and said, okay, I'm fighting with you? But I don't know, we don't see him again. That's the last time we see the crow. But, she starts getting pummeled by Vader's lightsaber. Maul starts pulling down the ceiling all around them. And then Vader uses the Force. I love how he was doing that. He was using the Force to kind of hold up pieces of it. But at the same time, he was using his lightsaber to cut pieces as well. Which is really great. Why didn't he do that in Rebels? Maybe that's how he survived in Rebels. Now that I think about that.
Exactly.
In Twilight of the Apprentice. I didn't think about that. See, Filoni's given us background into how he gets out of this stuff.
Exactly.
That wasn't the first. This won't be the first time he's got stuff falling down all around him. Anyways, Maul stops Devin now from rushing to attack Vader. He says, Devin, we must go. She says, no, I will kill them. He says, you are not yet strong enough, but I will train you and we will have our revenge. And which is funny because, you think about his first lines in The Phantom Menace. Last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. Last we will have our revenge. Yep. Same kind of thing echoing here. They run off. They're attacked by another gunship and Stormies, but they manage to get into Dryden's ship and they fly off. And then Vader does what he does best, which is watch ships fly away.
Yeah.
He can't do anything about. Although if it was Force Unleashed, he could have reached out and stopped it and pulled it back down.
Or even Obi-Wan, because he does that there too.
Oh yeah,
remember?
That's right.
Yeah. Because remember, they trick him. He pulls the one transport, but they're actually leaving on another one.
And the other one, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't do it there. I don't know. Plot convenience more than anything.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we get the aftermath of everything. Devin's sitting there. She's sitting down there. She's crying. She's angry. Riley is next to 2 Boots. He's crying. Maul tells Dryden he'll uphold his side of the bargain, taking down his boss there. And then Devin is holding that Sith saber in her hands. And she's not really, she's just kind of looking at it. I love the way they did here where she's just kind of looking at it. And then when Maul sits down and says, he sits down to her and he's looking, her eyes change, like not Sith eyes, but she has this very, very hardened look on her, like through her eyes about what she wants to do. Like there's definitely anger. There's definitely rage. There's some resolve there that she has. And then at that moment, she looks down at the lightsaber again, and that's when she grips the lightsaber like really tight. You can tell she's furious at this point, and that's when she says, "All right, I'm ready." And then they do a kind of close up on Maul's face, really just his eyes. You can kind of see him smirking, like he's
Grinning,
either smirking or he's grinning, or he's very content that he got his way. He's got his apprentice now, and we'll be heading into season 2 with that. So,
Yep.
I mean, that as far as storytelling goes, like you said, for animation, it was incredible. They did a great job. I don't know that there are some episodes of both the Clone Wars and I would say this: like most of the animated series have their moments, right? They have some really big moments. They have some really great episodes. This one, though, I will say, was consistently good throughout. Now, granted, there were only 10 episodes, and each one was about 20 minutes. So in all, compared to like Rebels and Clone Wars, it's probably not fair to compare them. But pound for pound, for moment to moment, there was no fat. It was very fast paced. And it was very, very lean in terms of the storytelling, and it was very, very much fueled by a lot of action, which I do love. Like I love the Andor stuff. I love like the I hate to say this because if you've been listening to the show any length of time, I've always said I'm not a big fan of the politics, but I've come to appreciate it now.
Right.
None of that was in here. Right. This is all about lightsabers and Jedi and blasters, and it was great. Like beginning
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. It was exactly how they Filoni and Sam Witwer described it, and I thought they knocked it out of the park. And again, I'm going to have to wait if I would place Maul as the best animated series of all of the Star Wars animated series. But I'm as of right now, and opinions change, and that's okay. As of right now, The Dark Lord, that episode is the best animated episode ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought for me, it checked all the buttons, or it checked all the check boxes. It pressed all the buttons. I think it did everything perfectly.
Well, I know we're coming up on an hour and a half, so I talked about this. We've already kind of talked about some of the things that we think are going to happen in season 2, but I'd like to do a Patreon exclusive episode where we just talk about that. So let me just kind of call an audible here right now. If we can't, I was thinking about it. We're already here on Tuesday, right, of this week. That may not be enough time for Patreon members to kind of make plans and chime in for a Sunday episode of From a Certain Point of View. So why don't we do this, Chris? Why don't we come back this weekend or Monday? Because Mother's Day is Sunday, and I that would be like detrimental to my personal life if we record on Sunday.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking is, why don't we do this? Why don't we plan on the next Patreon exclusive episode, which will be in a few days here, being that let's focus on all of the predictions and things that we would like to see in season 2. Again, Patreon exclusive. And then the weekend after that, we can plan for From a Certain Point of View. And that'll give some lead time for people to make plans and arrangements if you want to come on to that show. So that is a exclusive to Patreon members. We start with the $10 and above, the $10 and $20 groups first. They get first dibs. And then if there's still spots left open, we can open those up. If there's a lot of interest, I don't mind doing a second episode of like part 2 of From a Certain Point of View. We can bring more people on, but those are my favorite episodes because I love hearing all of the feedback, all the thoughts and the opinions and how people interpreted things and what was meaningful to them as their top 3 moments and honorable mentions. So please, if you've never, and you don't have to have video on, right? You can just come on and do audio too. You don't have to be intimidated by that. But I would love to see a lot of folks come on to those shows and just talk to us about Maul, Shadowlord, and just talk about all the wonderful things that happened. Well, maybe your top 3 things, the wonderful things that happened. Not everything.
Not
the
everything.
Top 3.
Top
That would
3.
be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see. Okay, a couple more things. Just some kind of reminders. Some of the things that Chris talked about earlier. On tomorrow night, we will do our Mandalorian and Grogu sneak peek 25-minute preview breakdown. So we'll break all that down, talk about what we saw and all that. That'll be a lot of fun. And then we talked about this weekend. We'll do some kind of show here for our predictions for season 2. And then we've also got the Mandalorian and Grogu final hype. Yeah, that's coming up here, I think on the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. So a ton of stuff. And then don't forget, I have a ton of posters to give out. We'll give posters away when we start doing our Mandalorian and Grogu coverage. but I have a ton of posters that were given out last night exclusively at the event. I've got 10 of those, and we will give those out as prizes randomly to people that join us for the live streams, or if you're part of any one of our Patreon groups. So I think that's everything. Chris, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just that I was very happy with the show. I was not disappointed at all. It was exactly what I was expecting. They hit all the points that I thought they should hit in a show that features a typical villain. Kudos to Lucasfilm Animation. Kudos to Sam Witwer and the entire voice cast. They did an excellent job, and I can't wait for season 2.
Sorry, I forgot one other thing. Were you able to get a list of people that joined us for the live stream tonight? Yeah. 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 Thank you so much, guys. All right. I'm going to roll the credits. I've not updated them. I know we've had a lot of new Patreon members that have joined, and I'm woefully behind. So I apologize in advance, but I've also got to get the logo updated on there, and I've got to figure out how to make space because we're running out of room on that page. But yeah, so I will get that worked on here this week. I've got some time to get that done. So my apologies for not having your names on there, but thank you to all of our Patreon members. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow night for the Mandalorian Grogu sneak peek breakdown. See you then.
You're still listening? Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.